got Prasanth here from T Assets. We're Texas Blockchain Council at Consensus. And
good afternoon, Christopher.
Yeah, appreciate you stopping by today. And
thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about what you have going on, what you're working on right now.
Sure.
And, in the space.
Absolutely. Love to talk about it. So we're at Consensus right now. This is my second year in Consensus. So my name is Prasanth Kalangi, founder and CEO of T Assets or Tassets, Tokenization of Assets. So we are a technology platform end-to-end that provide real-world asset tokenization. We got this idea in 2016, and we've been working at it. We launched
Which
the product.
is like forever ago. 2016 is...
Yes. Yeah, that's a long time. So that was in the ICO boom when everyone is going after ICOs and cryptos. Then my background has been enterprise, institutional background in the technology space. So I always wanted to build that products that scale to enterprise and institutions in the fintech space. And the illiquid markets of private capital markets has been always opaque. So we thought, okay, so the blockchain is a perfect technology engine for these kind of industry classification. So we got this idea in 2016, and we are quietly building since 2017 to 2021. We launched our product in 2021, and today we are based in Silicon Valley and McKinney, Texas.
Okay.
So we are a B2B technology platform.
Now, when you say the markets are illiquid, tell me, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so let's take a case, like if you are an asset owner owning real estate as an asset, right? That could be commercial real estate, could be residential, let's say commercial multifamily. So you own a portfolio of assets, meaning like one multifamily that's worth like $100 million for simple math. And investors who invested in this commercial through syndications as an LP, their capital is stuck on there. They cannot exit their share that they have invested in this multifamily today, and finding another investor or getting out of that share is very difficult for them. And then the entry point, the accessibility has been very high so far for an investor. Like they have to start like with $50,000 or $100,000 based on the structure of the regulatory PPM, what this asset has done it.
So you're using some words that you know, that maybe the audience doesn't know. So an LP, you're talking about liquidity provider.
No, LP is like limited partner.
Okay.
And a GP is a general partner.
Okay. And then PPM?
PPM is private placement memorandum.
Okay.
So a typical real estate syndication works like you have a GP, a general partner, who is responsible for really sourcing the deal.
Okay.
And then also managing the entire asset life cycle. And then there could be a co-GP. And a typical LP would be the one that is interested to invest in the deal, but not all of it, a portion of the deal. And then based on each share value, how the GP is structuring it, the limited partners will invest their money into this particular deal. And the deal could be a multifamily, that's a cash yielding deal, or a simple real estate syndication that's trying to find like other aspects. So that's is a traditional way of like doing things. And let's take an example.
So it's really a small market. So for an individual project or an individual partnership, it's a really small market of partners, either on the general partner side or the limited side as a capital provider. And there's a lot of friction between limited partners that want in or out of a transaction.
That is
over
correct.
time.
That is correct. Yeah. So I mean, this is a very simple example we just took, right? So, and then like the LPs are accessibility is limited to them because they don't know the deals that are good. Let's say like you want to buy a piece of like Four Seasons. I would love to buy a piece of Four Seasons for $25,000.
Yeah.
A piece of it, but I don't know. I mean that's pie in the sky for me. And then like, how do you get access to that, right? Now with blockchain, what happens is that like, let's say like we bring like a hospitality group and they want to really sell equity or like maybe sell debt, and then they can tokenize this in a regulated and compliant manner as per the regulations that are underlined by SEC and FINRA in US.
Okay.
And these are converted into smart contracts, and the token issuance happens. and these tokens are backed by real-world asset, such as a physical building, or a private boat, or a bunch of airplanes, or a yacht, and
so it's really just asset independent.
Asset agnostic,
yeah.
Absolutely right. And then now, these tokens, if based on the legal structures, how they're structured, and there's a lot more complexity behind the scenes, you as an LP now, if you have $100,000, you can sprinkle $10,000 here, $10,000 there, $10,000 there. As an investor, you're able to diversify. You're creating your own private, diversified portfolio of real estate investments.
Yep. And where are you seeing the most traction for this, the most demand for this? Who are your clients that you're looking at that this really helps solve a lot of their frustrations?
So our clients are pretty much the businesses, either the GPs or asset managers or portfolio managers.
So anybody that's syndicating capital, putting it together, and they want something that offers a little bit easier framework for their investors to transfer.
That is correct, and like a little bit easier framework, and like more outreach for their LPs, and like more liquidity options for their LPs or the investors network right now. And then there's also ability for them to manage the asset very easily on the entire life cycle in a transparent, trusted manner, because the underlying blockchain is like, the underlying technology is blockchain, and even the document management is very easy, and it's very transparent. And then they can manage the cap table, they can do refinance very easily, because once you get into the standard. So our customers are typically large businesses, institutions, and even small guys.
And I'd imagine if you're able to take care of they're able to take care of their liquidity, their partners, it makes it easier for someone to do business with them. So they're able to raise more capital at the end of the day, because someone's, they have more optionality later on in the deal. They don't need to be, if something's a 7-year project and there's a clear path to being able to liquidate out of that project at some point, then that makes people more comfortable putting more capital into deals.
Absolutely, and then like it's so. I mean, just so you know, right? So Tassets does not market or promote any of these tokens. We are a technology engine.
Yep.
Think of us as a back office. So what we have built is a very robust, scalable technology built on blockchain and our custom smart contracts, and a standard based on Ethereum. Right now, ERC 105 is what we call, and this is more a compliant, regulated space. These are purely securities. These are not cryptos, and we are limited.
You're really using the technology for the technology purpose. You're not using it to try and circumvent securities laws, or you're kind of embracing that, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Absolutely right. So the whole technology is embraced, and the sponsors who are going to take our solution, we offer like white label, private, and custom label solutions, right? And then the sponsors or our customers who take the solutions are really issuing these tokens in a most regulated and compliant manner, as you can imagine.
Okay.
So they have to do all the checks.
Gotcha. And so where are you seeing right now, where you looking at your products, your current customers, is there any investment vehicle that there's more demand for that than others? You mentioned multifamily a little bit earlier. Are you seeing it across a spectrum right now? Is it concentrated, and where do you see the highest opportunity for growth in the space?
Yeah, so as I said, we are asset agnostic, but like most of the assets what we have done are in commercial real estate.
Okay.
And whether it's a hard asset of commercial real estate or it's a debt fund that's trying to raise on a tokenized basis and then like deploy the capital on construction projects in commercial real estate is what most of our traction is. In commercial real estate, it's mostly multifamily. Multifamily is one of the preferred asset classes from our customers. Again, we don't get into this deal previews. We give our technology. We help them like set up. We help them like run everything very smoothly. So we are essentially the entire tech engine for our customers.
Okay. And so the best guys they're needing the access to that technology, that would be fund managers, really along the entire, whether it's equity or it's debt, really anything where there's going to have a partner that's going to provide capital that may want it back and wants to be able to have that as a liquid item, more liquid item, rather than trying to sell it as a trying to sell their portion of a project with 30 pages and call their friends and say, hey, do you want to buy me out of this?
Yeah, true. There are multiple use cases here, Chris, right, Christopher? It's not just like liquidity is one of the major plays. I mean, you are really enabling you to be freely move these transactions, and then have the ability even to refi in the future, right?
Yep.
So we're working with a couple of companies that do DeFi. So once you have these tokens, you can actually try to use these tokens and borrow money against them.
Yep.
In a traditional way, when you buy in a syndication, you're stuck there. You can't even do with any of the shares that you bought in that syndication through your capital. So our customers are excited about it. The reason is that now they can manage it better, and then they can really give options, transparency to their investors, and then also give options, the liquidity to the investors, and the entire flow of asset distribution life cycle is made very simple for them, and they have a chance to reach more investors than they were before.
Do you guys offer a marketplace for your clients to cross-pollinate between deals?
Yes, so we have something called a marketplace solution.
Okay.
So our customers take our white label or private label, as I explained, so they can launch a marketplace on their own, very fast, in literally no time, in a compliant, regulated manner, and they can start issuing these tokens in the most compliant manner. So whether it's whatever exemption offerings they're going through, they go through the same thing, and their investors can come to the marketplace what they launched, and then start buying these tokens with the KYCs, AML, and accreditation checks. Once they complete it,
okay,
they can they have to go through all the checks. That is very important, and then they can buy it. And then the advantage of that is that there are more marketplaces coming in, and there's something called ATS, alternate trading system, in this space.
Yeah.
That allows, which is a regulated exchange by SEC, that allows folks to buy and sell these securities, tokens, right? And then our customers can also integrate with those ATSs if they don't want to have their own ATS, which we have a software for it. And then these tokens can be issued in any of the ATSs, and then the investors can go and trade them.
Okay.
Freely, in a regulated way.
That's great. It's one of those things where unless you've dealt with it, you don't know how much friction there is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I think we're talking with other financial institutions. I think over time, financial institutions are looking for ways to streamline processes, and the clients that are out there are not going to look for something that's going to take 5 days, 7 days, plus a lot of legal, plus a lot of everyone's having to redo the same work over and over again. So it sounds like what you're doing is putting a framework so that everybody can just check off the list, and it's done between different general partners. You're not having to redo a lot of that work over and over and over again. So you're really taking a lot of headaches off the table for both the people that are providing capital and the guys that are forming capital.
Yeah.
So that they're not having to. It just gives them more optionality later on down the road.
You're absolutely right. I mean, this is just the beginning, right? I think we are seeing more and more folks are very or want to adapt this, especially on the institutional level, which is what we are talking. Right, it takes some time to come to the retail level, and then right now this is really on the primary issuance is what we call. Once you have the primary offering structured and issued these tokens, and then then there comes the secondary trading of them, or liquidity options, or the other finance aspects, the DeFi aspects will come into play. The reason why they are all interested is that because there is real estate or these private capital alternatives in general, right? Alternative investments are so opaque all these years.
Yes.
I mean, today you can go and then do stocks. You can buy stocks.
You go into Robinhood app.
Yeah, Robinhood app, right? And then you go and buy, and then you can trade ETFs. You can do options and trading, and then buy stocks for long term, short term. But alternative asset classes is the biggest asset class, right? Out in the world, and people find it very complex because it is complex, and then it became more opaque. And then now it's an opportunity for everyone to really rewrite this industry in the most transparent manner and more interoperable and more liquid manner. I think that's the beginning of the era we're seeing it, and then we call this as asset-backed tokenization, real-world asset tokenization, security token offerings, you can name it. So basically they all are different names, but depends on the legal structuring. You see large banks issue bonds. JP Morgan Chase went and did repos. they have done almost $500 billion worth of repos on their private blockchain using Onyx. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So this is already happening, and then even
I was about to say you've got a few wins with the amount of capital that you guys different deals. Tell us a little about some of those deals.
Yeah. So far, Tassets has been done like $4.2 billion of assets on platform is what we call.
$4.2 billion has already
been tokenized using our technology.
With assets backing that.
These are either assets or funds.
Okay.
Debt fund or a hard asset. Right. So we don't manage the assets, so it's not an AUM for us. It's basically assets on platform is what we call.
Correct.
That means our technology used to issue that amount of worth of real world assets.
Right.
Through different customers in total aggregated. And we believe this is just the beginning, and we are the leading company in US that is providing the technology engine.
There's no other company. You're the leading company because there is no other company that's out there, right?
There are companies.
No, you're not supposed to. This is your opportunity to say you're the only one in this space.
So there is no other technology company, US-based company that is doing what we're doing.
Excellent.
At this scale.
Are you running into any regulatory challenges right now?
Yes. So fortunately, we're in a space that is security space. So we have to clearly think that and then feel that this is securities that people are dealing with. This is not a digital asset, so to say, cryptos or NFTs, which kind of people tend to be we are not securities or we are.
Yep.
We are very clear these are securities.
Yeah.
So you must meet all the checklist of securities as laid out by SEC and FINRA. So we are doing in that compliant manner. So we don't see any regulatory challenges, but there is misconception out in the people's mind after FTX or any other debacles that happened that they think that these are cryptos.
Okay.
These are not cryptos. So this is totally different vertical and industry that's leveraging blockchain technology as such to achieve the interoperability and every aspect of the blockchain, immutability and transparency. So these are regulated securities that SEC can come and audit anytime.
And do they audit with you offering the platform? Do they audit you, or have you had to run through any audits? Or is it your clients that they have to run through on the audit side?
Our clients are typically one that is putting the legal structures, and then putting the regulation exemptions based on that. But the technology transparently records every transaction that happens and every investor that comes on the cap table. So anytime our customers have got the reports they can generate at their fingertips to support any of the audits they have to go through.
Gotcha. That's a lot of work that you've taken on over there. Do you have any finance when you're talking to enterprise? Did you have a finance background before this, or did you just
Yeah, so I mean, my background has been technology for 20 years, but I did do on the side real estate investing quite a bit.
All right.
So I gained experience through my passive investing, and also the frustrations I had to go through as an investor, and the capital my capital got stuck in these investments, which I cannot pull out. So, and then out of all these learnings, I started to do something, and then I started this, and then I met my co-founder, and then who has got a background in real estate space.
Okay.
And then he's not a technology person, so we started this together.
It makes perfect sense. You look at if you've had your capital stuck in a deal, and the general partner, there's a misalignment of incentives that happens over time because the general partner likes the continued amount, whatever it is. When there's no longer agreement, you're still stuck. If your capital's in there, the general partner kind of runs everything. You only have so much control, and this really gives you back control it sounds like it gives
Yeah, I mean, don't you know, if it's a cash yielding deal, right? Okay, so I get a cash yield every month. I want to stick with the deal. But if I have a choice that I can exit any time, that gives me a different perspective and peace of mind, right? Okay, so my capital is not locked up. I can actually exit. Yeah. If I have to exit or I want to exit, right? And that is what this whole technology is enabling.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything we didn't touch on that you think that we should touch on here?
I think thank you. We covered all the topics, I believe. But I think the main thing I want to say is that the regulation framework that SEC and US is putting is a very healthy thing that has to happen. And we believe that the markets are right now maturing in terms of like the adoption, and people are really understanding, okay, so they can't just launch any other project like a crypto project, anything like that. They have to go through the proper checks. And that's a fresh breath of air, to be honest with you. And then, like, I think that's long overdue. And then that gives more credibility to this industry. And we are into regulated space. And then, like, people must follow these regulations and rules and everything, as I stated. I think like Texas blockchain has been a great supporter. Thank you so much.
No, absolutely. Thanks to we rely on our members to help fund us and to so we can fight that fight. Help make those connections, whether it be the banking commissioner here in Texas and locally on the state level.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where unless we do it on the state level and we kind of force the issue, move the ball along, that maybe on the federal level things will move a little bit slower and there's less of an incentive.
I think Texas is going good, and like you guys are doing like good work in terms of like the state level, in terms of the recent participation in the Congress and everything. So I think like Lee, I know him well, and then like you guys are doing incredible work. So just make sure that like people don't just go to Florida. They should come to Texas.
They should come to Texas. Texas is the best. Everything's bigger here.
Yeah.
And the business environment is friendly. We've got some great things here in Austin going on.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we certainly love it.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure
so much. All right.
for having me here.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. We had a great time here at Consensus. At the Texas Blockchain Council, we are striving to be the nexus between traditional industries, banking, finance, legal, energy, and the digital asset industry. So we want to help you get your brand in front of those kinds of companies with B2B opportunities. Reach out to us if that's of interest for membership or for sponsorship at the summit. Hope to see you there in November in Fort Worth. Thanks again. We look forward to seeing you at the summit.